Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts, and we're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, but first, I want to give a shout out to Sammy Alonso, aka Raider Penguin. We're sending our prayers and condolences to you, brother.
Prayers again, yes, and it's time to get ready for the Chiefs. Let's buckle up.
All right, today on the show, we are celebrating a big win over the division rival, Denver Broncos. And we're also preparing for our next opponent, our biggest and most hated rival, the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, did you have to put that in there?
Yeah, why? T3, you're fired.
Okay.
They're making their first trip to Las Vegas. We also have a special announcement. We've worked out a deal with the Raider Image that between now and the end of the year, we're giving away 2 custom Raiders jerseys. If we win on Sunday, the first one will be done this week. Send us your name, address, and phone number, and we'll put you in a drawing to win your own custom Raiders jersey. Like us on social media and share with everyone on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. And check back next Thursday to find out if you're a winner. The more you share, the more chances to win.
We would love to hear from you, Raider Nation, so here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation Podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Be sure to leave us your name and address when you leave your message, or you can leave us a text message also. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube at The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. Don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some free Raider merch sent out. Also, check out our website at onlynationpod.com.
And you can contact us using any of those formats to enter the contest. So message us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, call, send in a text message, and get entered into that contest for your own free Raiders custom jersey.
Operators are standing by.
And in our first segment,
here's the latest Raider news.
the Las Vegas Raiders shook off a somewhat sluggish 10-6 halftime lead and scored 27 second-half points to break the spirits of the visiting Denver Broncos by a score of 37-12. The Raiders' defense kept their opponents out of the end zone all day, while Josh Jacobs and Devontae Booker combined for 203 yards on the ground and scored a total of 4 touchdowns. They each had 2.
Yeah, when I wrote that, we won't count that touchdown at the end. That was kind of garbage.
It was against the Broncos. They all count.
Yeah. And he talked about sliding instead of going in, but then he was like, no, just go in and let the next play happen. I mean, you want to punish your opponents, regardless of whether it's garbage time or not. And that's what they did. You know, you showed that you can finish a drive, you can finish a game. That's exactly what that was.
Another nail in the coffin of the Broncos is always welcome.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, signed during the offseason as a backup running back and someone who could just spell Josh Jacobs, Devontae Booker came into the game against Denver, his former team, already averaging an absurd 6.8 yards per carry on 33 carries with 223 rushing yards and a touchdown. He added to those totals with 81 yards and 2 touchdowns on 16 attempts. Devontae Booker is pulling off one of the biggest sleeper signings this season throughout the entire NFL.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
I sure didn't. I didn't even really have him making the team.
Well, I called it with kind of keeping my fingers crossed and being hopeful, but I didn't see this.
Well, he's exactly what we needed, to complement Josh Jacobs. You know, we've all asked for that big running back, but we got this guy that's about the same size, but comes with a nice little change up.
It's working.
I was really worried when we let DeAndre Washington go, and then we missed out on the draft and not getting a good solid running back, because I never was really sold on our friend who got shipped off to Miami anyway. But things have worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 weeks ago, Coach Gruden said there were going to be some major changes defensively. Well, not much has changed in terms of scheme or personnel, but the defense has done a 180 over the past 3 weeks and been making plays all over the field. Damon Arnett returned for the Silver and Black. We even got some production from David Irving on the defensive front. Now, I will say this, though. Paul Gunther is not calling plays. That part's obvious. He's not calling plays anymore.
Well, he's still got LaMarcus Joyner in the slot a lot more than I would like. And LaMarcus is probably not going to be in the slot this week, although it's for not reasons that I would like to mention.
Yeah, but you can tell that the plays are more simplified. They're playing to the defender's strengths, and we're blitzing a heck of a lot more. It goes against the entire philosophy that Gunther's been approaching our team with for the last 3 years.
Well, I think that just shows that he's a coachable coach. You know what I mean? Like Gruden went into the film room with them and said, hey, look, we need to do whatever we need to do to make our players play better, which, means putting them in better positions to do what they do better. And so he's a coachable guy that evolved his coaching ability and his play calling. I think he's still calling plays. Otherwise, Marinelli might as well just take over. But, hey, this is what we needed. And we're quietly starting to collect sacks through over the last few weeks. We're getting those turnovers now. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with swagger. They're playing with smiles on their faces. I mean, we're heading in the right direction for sure.
And, I did not want to say this before, but having Corey Littleton not on the field has really energized this team. They have come in. Nicholas Morrow has come in. Jonathan Abram has stepped it up. Arden Key has stepped it up. So many players have come in and played with a different type of energy than they did when Corey Littleton was just kind of on the field going through the motions.
Yeah, I have to say he's been a major bust so far this year, and it was like a rallying point for them to not have him out there, and they went out there to overcompensate, and they compensated perfectly.
Yeah, I remember us talking about Morrow not, showing flashes and whatnot, but not really being consistent. But he's showing up. He knows his defense well. And, yeah, taking the place of Littleton was a big part of it, and he got the sack. He's been all over the field. I'm excited to see what he can do against the Chiefs.
And I will be the first to say I was on the Corey Littleton train from day one. From the very beginning, I said, this is the one guy that we need to get in who's going to be a difference maker. And he has been, but not the way I would like.
Speaking of the Chiefs, coming into Sunday's game, the Raiders had just 5 turnovers in 8 games. Now through 9 games, they have 9 turnovers. So with their 5 turnovers, 4 of them on interceptions, the Raiders have gotten more takeaways in one game than they have gotten collectively all season long. And I hope that we continue to do this as a defense with players like Heath stepping up. Eric Harris has been, he got a couple of interceptions last year, but he hasn't really shown up this year. But, Heath showing up against the Chiefs, who we're playing again. And then last week versus the Denver Broncos, those were big turnovers, especially going into the second half. That killed the Broncos' spirit.
Mm-hmm. It was beautiful.
Yes. I loved it.
I could watch it over and over again. In fact, I think I might just do that tonight.
All right, Nicholas Morrow recorded a sack during the third quarter of the Broncos game. It was the first sack registered by a Raiders linebacker since Morrow himself had won against the Baltimore Ravens back in November of 2018. It's been nearly 2 years. Not gonna cut it. Not gonna cut it. But with Kwiatkowski, aka the dude, that should start showing up a little bit. We should start getting more sacks. Really, we gotta fix that.
And some corner blitzes coming off. I'd love to see Abram with one, perhaps.
Well, if he didn't jump off sides, he would have got one a couple games back.
That's true.
All right, perhaps the most underrated part of this team so far this year has been the special teams unit. Daniel Carlson nailed 3 field goals, including a 52-yarder, and punter A.J. Cole had perhaps his best pro game, launching 3 punts that landed inside the opponent's 20-yard line. On Sunday, the kicking game, the coverage units, and the return game were all clicking, and that's really great to see. We even had a punt return for a touchdown by Hunter Renfrow, although it was called back because of a penalty. But there's a lot of reason for optimism here. Yeah, I was pissed off about that Hunter Renfrow touchdown being called back.
That was a penalty that didn't even have to be made.
Yeah, it wasn't even right at the play. Yeah.
I love Abram, but sometimes he gets just a little bit too feisty.
I'm afraid that he's going to cost us in some penalty yards or maybe even get himself ejected from the game. He's really been skating close to the edge lately in the last 2 weeks.
It's been a little bit fired up.
You can't tame him too much, otherwise it's going to affect his game. I think maybe he missed those tackles, those open field tackles early on, but he's really showed up. If you start to try to tame him, you're going to see more of those missed tackles. So that's kind of a tricky situation right there.
Now, he needs to learn to play smart, though. I get it that you don't want to take away his enthusiasm, but you still got to play smart and use your head.
Yeah, kind of like when Marquette King crossed the line. His quirkiness and individuality was good, but it crossed the line where he started getting 15-yard penalties just because he had a good punt and ended up hurting the team worse.
Quirkiness is one way of putting it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now, in breaking news, right before the recording of this podcast on Wednesday, the Raiders got hit with some major bad news on the COVID-19 front. Already, Cleve Ferrell and LaMarcus Joyner joined Trent Brown on the list as of Tuesday. Cleve is most likely out for Sunday's game, while there's still a chance Joyner may play. Now, on Wednesday, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that right now, as many as 8 members of the defensive unit may be added to the list for contact tracing. Although they could be cleared and eligible to play on Sunday, this could definitely affect another primetime appearance by the Raiders on national television. This is about the worst news we could get right now.
Yeah, and added to the list on Wednesday, Jonathan Abram, Malik Collins, Jonathan Hankins, Isaiah Johnson, Arden Key, Kendall Vickers.
Ouch.
Yeah, hopefully this time, though, the NFL will push the game back to like Monday or Tuesday if they have to. Don't screw us on this one, all right? This is a big game. And if they do make it to where we play an earlier game than on Sunday, then they are definitely out to get us, and they want the Chiefs to win this game as much as possible.
And what are the odds they do that?
It's the Raiders. They won't.
Now, I mean, the Titans, they had like 3 positive tests and had their games moved for a month or something. Raiders have 9 people on the list, and they're not going to do a thing except maybe move our game early.
As a cumulative effect of all the things that have happened to the Raiders so far this season, the NFL is going to send a clear message to the Raiders and say, well, there you go. This is what you get.
And Cleve Ferrell, you don't need to be having a party before the game. You don't need to be having people over to your house and streaming videos and just flicking your face in, the concept of the bubble. Irresponsible.
And that probably will be something the NFL will look at. And they'll say, well, you did it to yourself, so you just have to roll the dice.
And that I can understand. But, maybe add another. What are we up to? The team is up to $1.2 million in fines?
At least.
Yeah.
We're still rebelling against the NFL, and all the things that go on around the world, man. But you know what? Still, though, the NFL needs to realize that despite all the stuff that's been happening, man, we are a legit team, and the NFL is better when the Raiders are good. All right? The NFL is better when the Raiders are good, and we are good this year.
Yeah.
We beat the Chiefs, hands down, the first game in Arrowhead, and now we're at home. Just move it back to a Tuesday, a late Monday night game, or just hurt Patrick Mahomes. One or the other. Figure it out, Raiders.
And then after we win, we'll take a lap around the stadium in our bus.
There we go.
Chiefs are a little sore about that.
We'll take a lap around the stadium in their bus.
Okay, there we go.
Let's take their bus away from them, and we'll travel around in it.
There you go.
So on to better news. The Raiders Foundation, the charitable arm of the Raiders that's committed to increasing community and civic health through military support and youth development, facilitated a visit to the Southern Nevada State Veterans Home in Boulder City on Sunday prior to the game against the Broncos. The Raiders alumni also conducted socially distanced window visits with residents who were inside their rooms and then presented a $10,000 check as a donation to the Veterans Home to help support COVID-safe programs. It's great to see the Raiders continuing to support the military and even going over and above, especially during these times.
That's the Raider way.
That's the Raider way.
Always giving back to the community, the military, I like seeing that. Even though we're dealing with our own COVID issues, it's nice to see them do stuff like this.
And I saw pictures on the website, particularly during COVID. It's particularly important to honor the veterans and to not forget them during this time, because a lot of them are shut in and they don't have the benefit of even some of the other outside activities that other people have.
Right.
Now, this past week marks another sad moment in what's been a terrible year so far for fans and businesses across the country. The East Bay said goodbye to legendary sports bar owner Ricky Ricardo last week, even as his legendary Ricky's Sports Theater and Grill in San Leandro remains boarded up due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and its future remains uncertain. Ricky's was long considered the mecca and gathering place for sports fans, but especially for Raiders fans. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Ricky's wife, Tina, and the entire Ricardo family. Rest in peace, and all I have to add to this is once a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah, just another blow. And that was, Ricky's was the place to be the night before the game.
Yeah, that was a fun place to be.
I had the opportunity to be there 3 times, and Ricky greeted me at the door all 3 times.
It's going to be a big empty spot in the landscape.
All right, well, let's move on to some happier stuff. Let's hand out some game balls for the Raiders for their big victory over the Broncos. Heidi, who you got this week?
I got a little guy who's not even usually a starter, Jeff Heath. He was safety that he intercepted 2 balls against the Broncos, and he was in position to intercept a third if Nick Kwiatkowski wouldn't have done an acrobatic catch, OBJ catch, and stolen it from him. But he was in place to collect a hat trick. And as a result, he was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. And that's the first time that he's ever won that award. And congratulations to Jeff. You definitely earned the game ball.
Homer, who you got this week?
For me, I'm going to go with Devontae Booker. Last episode, I was calling for him to step up and go and help us beat the Broncos, his former team. Now, I know he said that he wasn't concerned about all that, but it felt good to show the Broncos why they should have kept him. And, when he came in the fourth quarter, he got a 7-yard touchdown rush, and he got a 23-yard touchdown rush to close the game out. These are the kinds of exclamation points that we want to be able to put up to show the NFL that we are legit, to show the rest of the fan bases that we are legit. We are no longer an easy out on this schedule, and it's because of people coming in like Devontae Booker that make it that way. That show that we are good as an organization as at spying talent and at utilizing talent. And Devontae Booker, you get a game ball because you helped us beat the Broncos with an exclamation point.
Definitely worthy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my game ball this week goes to a guy who I will admit I kind of gave up on before the season even started. Rotational defensive end Arden Key may have played his best game this past Sunday after missing 2 games with a foot injury. He had 2 tackles, brought consistent pressure, and made 1 hit on Broncos quarterback Drew Lock that the kid's probably still feeling today, I'm sure. Now, if Key could continue to have this type of energy going forward, the Raiders' defense will definitely benefit. But for this week, I want to give number 99 his props and a game ball. Now, as long as he's not one of the guys affected by COVID-19 this week, we're going to need him to really step up again in a big way. And I would have no problem giving him a game ball 2 weeks in a row. So my fingers are crossed.
Yeah, that hit, Drew Lock never recovered from it. That was a true example of the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard. That really affected him for the rest of the game.
He looked uncomfortable the whole game after that.
Yeah.
I think this really speaks well to Mike Mayock's ability to see talent, right? Arden Key, over the last couple of years, everybody's been questioning whether he's going to be able to turn the corner, right? The same with Cleveland Farrell, but he's been playing a lot better. And then also Brandon Parker, right? He came in and he played great at the left tackle, and now there's talk of him playing the right tackle. At least I want to see him play right tackle again. But these guys that take a little bit of time to develop, right? At first, a lot of Raider Nation was like, I don't want to develop these players. We need, impact players right here, right now. But at the same time, these are the kind of guys that provide depth, right? And that that can change games. Like you're talking about the hit that he put on Drew Lock. That changed the game, right? This is a backup that changed the game. Brandon Parker's a backup that changed the game. They gave us a chance. Like I'm very excited to see, what happens in this draft. Even though all this COVID stuff's going on, they're still playing college ball. So I'm excited to see what happens in this draft. Because if Mayock can really knock this draft out of the park, then it's a foregone conclusion, right? That he is probably one of the best GM talents in the NFL.
Oh, if Arden Key could only play on Sunday and get such a similar hit on Patrick Mahomes, I would love that.
Oh, please, please, please.
I would be cavelling. All right, and that brings us to our next segment.
And now it's time for another Heidi's High Five.
All right, here is this week's version of Heidi's High Five. Number 1, the good. I have to say, the relentless pressure on Drew Lock marked a big change for the Raiders defense, and I like the change. Now, if we can maintain consistent pressure on the quarterback and continue to improve upon the pass coverage, particularly in the soft underbelly between the line of scrimmage and the deep ball, I think we'll be okay. Number 2, the bad. Too many points left out on the field. Darren Waller drops a pass that may have been a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar drops a bona fide touchdown pass. Jeff Heath has a big interception return that leads to no points. Hunter Renfrow takes a punt inside the Broncos 30 and then takes another one to the house, both called back because of illegal blocks, both of which weren't necessary. This cannot happen against the Chiefs. Number 3, the ugly. Missed tackles and arm tackles. When I played football, we were taught to wrap up every time. In this day and age of the highlight reel and the kill shot, this lack of fundamentals is costing the Raiders, particularly in third and long situations, which I'm just going to start referring to as third and wrong. We need to clean this up and in a hurry. Number 4, silver. There was a silver lining on Sunday in terms of the return of 2 draft picks, Damon Arnett and Brian Edwards. Edwards had a big catch, and Arnett showed exactly why he was picked as high as he was. With a return to good health, knock on wood if you're with me, good things will continue on the back end of that Raiders secondary. Number 5, black hearts. A lot of bad blood and a lot of black and blue this week as Raiders and Chiefs get back to that old school ugly feud. And a feud is only such if both teams win. Now I see the Chiefs winning this round, but I think that perhaps these teams will face each other again in January. And yes, that will be the cold weather game that defines Derek Carr and this entire Raiders team. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just try to just win this week, or at least keep it pretty damn close. And that is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
I want to touch on 5. There is no reason to believe that we cannot win this game. All right. Since Gruden said we're going to go in and make changes, we have been playing better. We have been getting we have been getting sacks. We've been getting turnovers here in this last game. We have been competing. Derek Carr has not had to throw for very many yards to win these games. This is what we wanted, right? We all knew that Derek Carr needed a team, and now we got this team. It's not all on Derek Carr anymore. It is not going to come down to Derek Carr throwing to Michael Crabtree 3 or 4 times in the end zone and getting the referee's help to win these kind of games. Really, it's just a matter of us believing in ourselves, being in the right position. And you hear some of the interviews, and they're talking about being a half step, behind or in front make the difference. If a Jeff Heath can show up in a passing situation and be savvy enough to pick off Patrick Mahomes a couple times again, which there's no reason to believe he can't, then we are in good shape. Now, yes, we got to deal with this COVID-19 thing, but at the same time, we also said that they should be able to play. So there's no reason that we cannot win this game. This is something that we can make a statement doing, and that this team wants to. This team believes in itself.
Just think about this. If the Raiders can put up 37 points and get little to no production out of Darren Waller and Henry Ruggs, imagine what will happen if either one of these guys goes off, in addition to the running game doing what it's already doing.
And we're going to be inside a dome.
It's time to make a statement at home, right? We've only won 2 games at home. It's time to make a statement. We beat the Saints there, right? The Saints, yeah, they may have been a little shaky back then, but they're a good team. We can handle this team. We can handle the Chiefs. It's time to show that we can. We got to win this game. This is a must win.
It's a must win according to some people, but I caution everyone, and I will make mention of the fact that it is difficult to beat a team in your division 3 times. And I say that because I see the Raiders making the playoffs, and the playoffs have to go through Kansas City. Obviously, they're head and shoulders above everybody else in terms of record, and they'll probably end up with home field advantage throughout, which means if we see them again, we'll have to see them in Kansas City, and it will be outside in cold weather. Now, having said that, we've already beaten them once, but this would be, as I mentioned, Derek Carr's defining cold weather game. So I'm not looking past this game coming up, but I'm looking down the road to see us possibly meeting them for a third time.
Well, let's look down the road. You're correct. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, but let's look down the road at their schedule, right? If we can get this win, however we got to get this win, they got to play the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Chargers. There's a good shot that we could win the division. So I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, Heidi. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, as far as playoff chances go, this game actually isn't a must-win. And that is just assuming that the Chiefs will win the division. It's going to come down to the must-win games are actually going to be the Colts and the Dolphins, because we likely will be looking at a wild card spot. Those are the teams that are going to make a really big difference in our playoff chances. If we win, obviously, it's going to be great. It'll improve our chances, but it's not the end of the world if we don't pull it off.
Okay, I get that. But what I'm saying is, if we want a shot at winning our division on a consistent basis, we got to start here. All right, we already started in Arrowhead. We got to continue that start here. All right. Yes, we got to beat the Dolphins and we got to beat the Colts even. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we want Kansas City to feel that heat. We want to flip the script on Kansas City and make Kansas City feel the heat. That's what I'm saying. That's why I mean it's a must win, because it's a statement game if we win this game.
And Homer, I agree with you, and that I think it's not a must win, but I do agree with your logic. Now, if we consider ourselves as playing with house money, in other words, we look at it from a Vegas slant, we've already beaten the Chiefs on their home field. Now, we're playing with house money now. Nobody expected us to take both games from Kansas City, but we already have guaranteed ourselves at least a split. Now, if we can go in and just say, let's take all the pressure off ourselves and do the best we can and not look at them as a Super Bowl champion. Let's not look at them even as a division rival, but let's look at them as a team that we've already beaten. If we do that and we stick to our game and we play the top of our level, then we can come out with a win.
Oh, yeah. And think about what a win like this does to the rest of the teams that are going to face us down the road. Right? Instead of them looking at the Kansas City Chiefs as this top dog, they're starting to look at us as a top dog. That's and when you can strike fear in your opponent, that you got a better chance to win. Those games that you must win also, that you should win, right? Those games that you mentioned, Heidi, those are games you should win. I think this is just a must win. So I'm gonna drop it right there.
Okay. All right, game predictions.
All right, I'll lead off. Now, we held the Kansas City offense down once, but I don't see it this time around. I'm going to say 38-24 Chiefs. I'm hoping that we hold it closer, but that's what I'm saying.
Homer?
I want to see our defense continue this trend, right? Yes, we had the Chargers, right? They scored 26, right? But really, the field goal that we gave up a field goal at the end of the first half via fumble on the offense. So really, our defense only gave up 23 points to a pretty high-powered offense. So I'm going to say that we can win this game probably 31-24. That's what I'm going to stick with right there. I've been wanting this defense to stick around under 25, hopefully under 23, but I think right there, 31-24. Raiders.
Okay. I think that the Chiefs are pissed. They are going to do their best to kill us. And Andy Reid has had the bye week to plot and plan. He's 18-3 coming off the bye. Plus, we have 9 members of our defensive team out for the week. I just don't see us pulling it off. I have us going down 41-31.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? So we talked about Derek Carr not throwing for more than 200 yards over the last 3 games. If you're the Chiefs defense, what are you prepared to stop? The run or the pass?
I would probably focus on the run right now.
Then Derek Carr can open it up.
Yeah, I think everybody knows going in that Gruden really wants to run the ball. He wants to have a ball control offense and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. So they can do everything they can.
Stick 8 in the box.
No, true. This is where Henry Ruggs can really come into play. Let's get him involved in the run game. Let's do a couple of bubble screens. Let's do a couple of jet sweeps. Let's get him involved in the game and put that speed to work and yet keep the clock running.
Don't forget about Aguilar. Edwards is back. He had that nice little catch last week. I mean, we have enough weapons on the edge that if you stack 8 in the box trying to stop our running backs that are pretty good against, 8 in the box, you're leaving. And Derek Carr is better against the 8 in the box, the blitz, okay? Remember, it's when they go into the cover 6 and they drop back all the people. That's when Derek Carr starts to struggle and zone. So if you bring up 8, man, you're leaving yourself susceptible to the big play. I feel it. I feel this game.
It was us jumping on the passing game that really caught them off guard the first game. So they might be more focused on that, realizing that we do have the ability to do it now. But I think Gruden is going to want to control it on the ground.
I would like them to get the ball into the hands of Darren Waller early. I'm not sure what kind of funk he's in right now, but I think a couple of passes early, get him into the game and get his head in. And once his head's on and once he's rolling, I think things will really, really start to pick up.
I mean, for me right now, the Raiders offense, if I'm on the opposing team's defense, it's like pick your poison, right? Like, they can do it both ways. They can score on you throwing the ball. They can score on you running the ball. So they have to be honest, and that's going to take away from their aggressiveness on defense as far as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, if the passing game can open up early, remember, over the course of the season, Josh Jacobs continues to get stronger as the game goes on.
And the offensive line wears down the defensive line consistently.
Agreed. If the game either gets to the Raiders a lead or is really, really close toward the end, Jacobs can really grind it down, and the Kansas City defense can really take a pounding toward the end of the game.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Well, Homer, I kind of hope you're right, because if you're right, we're going to have a lucky fan win something special this week.
All right. Oh, yeah, so give us a call at 904-701-8667. Leave a voicemail or text message at that number, or send in a message via social media, and we will share your thoughts.
Here's our latest messages and text messages. Got a message from Craig in Oklahoma, and he said, Jeff Heath is on fire. He's a ball hawk. Not the greatest at his position, but that man will catch it if it's close to him. I'm unsure of how many he has on the season, but it's what he was known for in Dallas. Thanks, Craig. Keep those texts coming our way. And we also did get one from him that simply said, damn it, Waller. He also added one for Homer. He said that if Kwiatkowski can keep catching the way he did, he would make a very good backup fullback.
Oh, boom. You know it. You know it. The guy's got hands. He's an athlete. Now, as far as Jeff Heath, that's, the one thing I hate about watching Patrick Mahomes is how he embarrasses the defenses, right? When he runs to the right side of the field and he throws it across the field to the middle of the field. Like, I cannot stand seeing that play. That is like playing backyard football. You are not supposed to give that up as a defender. All right. It was known throughout the decades that you don't do that as a quarterback. Run and then throw across your body into the middle of the field. That is like football 101s, football fundamentals. So I think a Jeff Heath can take that away from Patrick Mahomes. And look, Patrick Mahomes at the end of the last game, right, in his press conference said, we need to be more deliberate with our plays and execute our plays more and not try to make it happen by swinging it. Like, the Raiders had Patrick Mahomes come out and say that. So if we can, granted, whether, we'll figure it out with this COVID thing, but if we can make him remember that and make them and take that part away, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm getting back into it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jeff Heath is on fire.
Now, the Carolina Panthers gave him problems last week, so that's a possibility.
And that brings us to Homer, did you know?
Hey Homer, did you know?
All right. Now, in 1983, 1984, and 1986, Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins was the AFC's top passer. Well, you're probably asking, well, why is that Raider related? Well, in 2 of those 3 years, the top receiver happened to be the same guy, and it wasn't a Dolphin. So my question is this. Do you know who this guy was and what team he played for?
Sorry.
Is this Heidi? Do you know? I'm going to go with Cliff Branch.
The answer is Todd Christensen of the LA Raiders.
Damn it, Heidi.
46.
That's all.
46.
Thanks, Heidi.
He led the AFC in 1983 with 92 catches and 1,247 yards and 12 TDs. That was the year they beat the Washington then Redskins in the Super Bowl. And he gathered in 95 receptions for 1,153 yards and 8 touchdowns in the year 1986. And that is this week's version of Homer. Did you know?
Sorry about that.
I'll tell you this. I do know that he should be in the Hall of Fame. That dude was a badass.
Yes.
And he wore number 46. Like, that was so odd, but he did it, and he kicked ass doing it.
And rest in peace, Todd Christensen.
Absolutely.
Raider in peace. All right, now it's time for Heidi's segment, even though she wanted to interrupt my segment. So let's go ahead and get to Heidi's heroes.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
All right, the Salute to Service Award presented by USAA recognized NFL players, coaches, personnel, and alumni who demonstrate an exemplary commitment to honoring and supporting the military community. This year's nominee for the Raiders is alumnus Jerry Robinson. He played linebacker for both the Eagles and the Raiders. His write-up on Raiders.com covers everything you need to know about why he was nominated. It says this: just as he was a consistent, reliable performer on the field during his playing career, Jerry Robinson is a constant, steady presence in the community, especially when it comes to honoring military members as a Raider alumnus. Jerry spent 7 seasons with the Raiders after 6 years with Philadelphia. Playing for the Raiders was a dream come true for Robinson, who was born in Santa Rosa, California, where the Raiders once held their summer training camp. Jerry is now equally intent to pay his respect to those who nobly serve in the military. In 2018 and again in 2019, Jerry visited with veterans in the Yountville Veterans Home in Napa, the largest veterans home in the United States. In 2018, Jerry also took part in a dinner hosted at Raiders headquarters, where he engaged veterans who participated in an honor flight trip. In 2019, Jerry returned to the Raiders headquarters to meet with families of Travis Air Force Base and assisted with their project to build wooden American flags under the guidance of the Flags of Valor. Jerry joined with airmen and their families in the Las Vegas Family Association, gathered in front of TVs at Nellis Air Force Base to cheer on the Raiders as they faced the New York Jets. Most recently, Jerry participated in a virtual watch party with members of the Wounded Warriors. In each of those events, Jerry made sure to thank the veterans for their service to our country. And we thank you, Jerry, and that makes you my hero this week.
See, this is what the Raiders breed. You know, alumni that continue to do good things for their communities, you know, because they saw the Raiders do those things. We just talked about the Raiders, you know, helping military as far as COVID, and now we're talking about Jerry Robinson helping the military. Like, this is what being a Raider is about, and this is a great thing. Great choice, Heidi.
And I think I made mention of this earlier. Nellis Air Force Base does not realize, or maybe they do, how fortunate they are to have the Raiders plop down in the midst of their base, because they're going to benefit so many times.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to thank T3 for pointing me into the direction of finding Jerry for my hero this week.
My pleasure.
T3, I'd like to thank you for all the work that you do on this podcast. And I know you got a bunch of shout outs from your boy Q. Hopefully, he's not trying to steal you away from us because we need you.
I am right here. This is awesome. My home field.
I'd like to add that T3 is the catalyst behind our contest for you to be able to win your free custom Raiders jersey. Give him all the credit.
Great work.
I'm a Gruden grinder, I guess.
You are.
Oh, you don't guess. You are. There's no guessing.
All right. Thanks again to our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast.
Okay, Raider Nation, here's an important number for you because it could win you a free personalized Raiders jersey. Our Google Voice number is 904-701-8667. Give us a call, leave us a voicemail, or send us a text message to that number. You can also reach us at onlynationpod@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. Be sure to look us up on Facebook and YouTube. Just search the Only Nation Podcast.
Be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite social media account and podcasting app. Make sure to leave your name, address, and phone number. Do that, and we'll register you for one of 2 personalized Raiders jerseys we're giving away between now and the end of the season. Make sure you get in your info to win your own custom Raiders jersey. If we win on Sunday against the Chiefs, the first drawing will be on next week's episode. So the number is 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Call us now and join the Only Nation Podcast family. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Good luck, and remember, the more you share, the more chances you have to win.
Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Stay safe, wear your mask, and go Raiders.